is a businessman. He is a national field director of the All Progressives Congress Youth Forum, the APC, an influential political bloc within the current government and the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Mr. Alwan, President Muhammadu Buhari's much vaunted integrity is now being seriously questioned. And I say this because a number of corruption allegations, for instance, involving high-level cronies of the president, has been overlooked. Do you genuinely think Buhari can claim any form of credibility at the moment?
You amaze me, Alwan.
First of all, let me define Buhari for you. Buhari is the definition of decency.
Buhari is a man that had lived a very beautiful life, a decent life. You said people around him or corruption allegations against his people, not him. And all the ones they are talking were things we hear from social media. No one has ever brought a proof to prove that, yes, this guy has done this, he's his chief of staff, this guy has done this, he's his SGF, or this guy has done this, he's his minister. All we hear is on the news, newspapers, social media, Twitter and Facebook. That's where it goes on. No one has ever brought any proof. And I bet you, if you have any proof, bring it to me, I'll take it to him. I might not have direct contact with him, but I have a direct contact with somebody that is very close to him, and he'll give him. So all these things are just noise making.
Okay, you said noise making.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring some points that I have with me.
Bring them up.
Allow me to stay on the issue for a bit. What has Buhari done about the several weighty allegations against, for instance, let's start the SGF, the former SGF, Babachi Lawal, the COS Abakiari, and the recent corruption involving about 78 billion fund that was diverted from the NLNG. There is also the damning case of bribery video involving the Kano state governor, Ganduje. The president was actually seen smiling and taking pictures when these videos were trending across the place. And this is a president that keeps touting himself as a man of integrity, as a man who is against corruption, at a particular time where the entire world was in shock about the actions seen in a video by a governor. The president was seen with this same governor at that particular time. Is that not enough?
Let's take it that the videos are real. Is it in President Buhari's position to sack governor of Kano State?
Absolutely none, because he has immunity.
So what do you want him to do?
What does the body language say? When you're seen with someone who is said...
You want him to stop seeing him as the governor of a state like Kano, seeking for audience with the president. Why is he seeing Wike?
When you say like...
Why is he seeing Wike?
Is there a video with Wike?
Not video, but Zenith Bank's MD confessed. No, Zenith Bank MD confessed that Wike withdrew 170-something billion naira from Zenith account. I think it was instrumental, 45. He was writing checks, 2 checks every day. The Zenith Bank MD confessed. And Wike is saying is their own state funds. What do you want him to do? It's the same thing with what we saw on videos, even if it's real, of Ganduje. It's the same thing, $5 million. This man has withdrawn more than $170 million. What are you talking about? See, you see, the problem is he's a good man, and everyone doesn't doubt that. So whatever people do is just to bring his name to a dent, which will never happen. President Muhammadu Buhari is a symbol of decency and excellence. No matter what happens, you can never tell me that it is President Muhammadu Buhari that was caught collecting bribe, or President Muhammadu Buhari was caught or has been caught leading us with favor and fear. No, never. There is a minister in this country that had once said, I think former finance minister Adeosun, Kemi Adeosun said it, if there was any time this country will be good, it's in this time, that there is no president that you go with problems and challenges on paper, and the first thing he tells you to do is do the right thing.
Has Babachi Lawal been persecuted?
Yes, he is. He was in the EFCC a few months ago for almost a week or two.
Walked away. He's actually the major campaign managers of this government.
Abang, do you know how hard it is to prosecute people that occupy offices, public offices? It's not easy. Even if you have the facts, they have lawyers. They will go to court. And if the government had held him like the way the Zakzaky is being held, the likes of you will go out and say freedom of bail.
It's interesting that he actually did point it out.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. If he was held like the Zakzaky, you could have been the ones advocating, all the activists in the country coming out to say, release him. Babachir should be released. This is what happens. This is what Nigeria derails to.
The petroleum subsidy is back.
It's not petroleum subsidy.
Exactly. They've called it another nomenclature, under recovery. That's what you guys have called it. So far, this has cost Nigerians and Nigeria about $3.5 billion. The National Assembly insists that this amount was spent illegally, without appropriation, under the watch of a president with integrity. This government had told Nigerians that subsidy no longer exists.
I like the fact that you always say under a president with integrity.
While he was campaigning, President Buhari called subsidy a scam. The video is all over the place. Has things changed?
Yes.
Or is Buhari also involved in this scam?
Yes, they have. Things have
Is
changed.
Buhari involved in this
Let me tell you, Akbang, the subsidy in the other regime were 22 or 32 people, individuals owning companies, collecting money that they didn't bring PMS to the country. A lot of them collect crude, go out to swap and don't bring it back. There was a contract called an alliance contract that was given $3 billion worth of crude. It was taken in a day and nothing was brought back. The mess in that other government is so bad that when I keep on telling you about it, you'll be shocked. That is one. Secondly, there is no subsidy in this regime. The swap going on is without funding, is without funds. Cash is not being used. They give crude oil, collect PMS that is underpayment. They call it underpayment. They collect PMS under the rate because they have to pay for the freight and landing costs.
Why was 378 billion naira?
I will explain. Excuse me, but that one that was diverted, that was alleged by the National Assembly to be diverted, will be proven and they will come out clean. This government is a serious government, Aban. They are not thieves. They might be stealing in some way, one way or the other, but no one goes into the petroleum ministry when Mr. President is the minister and steals money. It is all joke. They'll come out clean. You see it. Nobody dares to touch 360 billion, or what figure is that? 378 billion under Buhari's watch. Nobody can do that. And you come back to tell me that, yes, it's been sorted out. The same thing happened with the $25 billion contract that Kachuku alleged was approved by the president, and later we found out that, yes, it is in his own right to approve that contract. So
is it accurate for President Buhari to be committing impeachable offense? When you divert such funds without the appropriation by the National Assembly, it's impeachable offense.
Have you ever read through the powers of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Absolutely.
And you think that is an impeachable offense?
Come on. 378
Then you spoke about, you'll ask me about three things.
Yes.
And I wanted to clarify. One is the subsidy.
Right.
The subsidy, what is happening now is with no cash. It is the federal government that pays the NNPC the monies they lost when they collect back the PMS. So there is no money in this subsidy regime. You understand? I'll call it the underpayment. There is no money involved. They give out crude, collect PMS.
What is the difference between under recovery and subsidy?
Okay. Subsidy is when people buy PMS, come into the country and sell below the amount it got into the country. And those individuals will be paid money by the government or NNPC. Under recovery, is the system itself, the company NNPC. No one, no individual, no company, no private company brings in PMS now. It is the company NNPC that takes out crude oil and brings in PMS. And whatever subsidy you call it, or whatever name you call it, federal government will now remit the difference to the NNPC. This is exactly what is happening.
And this remittance is not supposed to be approved by the National Assembly. Anyway, we'll be back to that. You deify President Muhammadu Buhari. For you, it's someone like, I'll quote what you've said before. At some point, you likened the president in 2015. I'll be quoting you. You said President Buhari is a gift from God that will save Nigeria. Let us zero down on some security, on the issue of security, for instance. A number of people say security has deteriorated under the president's watch. Do you agree?
You can't ask people from Maiduguri this question.
Why?
Because if you tell them that it has deteriorated, they will tell you you're just talking. Abang, you and I were in Abuja when people can't even move. You can't go to church, you're a Christian. I was not free. I was scared to go to my mosque.
We don't take our children.
Yes. We don't take our children to our children to school. We were always scared.
So if barracks have been sacked as we speak, have we won the war?
Which barrack was sacked?
Which barrack was sacked? Tell me, which barrack was sacked? There is no barrack that is sacked in this government. Which barrack was sacked? Of course, these guys are still there, but it's not as bad as it used to be. 17 local governments were under them. People I know in this town that never go to their family in Maiduguri now are living in Maiduguri. Some stayed in this town for 6 years without going to see their parents. I know a lot of them. I have friends there, and I've been there recently. And I was there 5 years ago.
The number of body bags and scores of soldiers being killed in the northeast. Have you seen the images?
Abang, is it President Muhammadu Buhari that is killing them? These guys defend us. Of course, they die every day. Because the criminals are still there. The monsters are still there. I'm not saying we've wiped out Boko Haram completely. Yes, they are still there. But we are taking care of them. But we're better off before now.
How do you explain what is happening in places like the Middle Belt and Zamfara states, where there is a total breakdown of internal security as a result of unmitigated farmer herdsmen clashes and banditry? Let's even look at Kaduna State, for instance. Kaduna has become a major security threat. Wasn't this under President Buhari's watch? Something we had not recorded.
You see, Kaduna's issue is a sensitive issue because it's an ethnic and religious issue. But Benue is fine now. Just Plateau State.
Why did Kaduna deteriorate under Buhari's watch?
It has been like that. Have you heard of the Zamani Likud War? Have you heard of that? How can it deteriorate? Have you ever heard of what happened in 1988 in Kaduna State? Southern Kaduna in Kafanchan? How can you say it has happened now when more than 2,000 people were killed in a day? Everywhere was burned, plus ABU Zaria. You can't even compare it. See, Kaduna's issue is ethnicity and religion. And I'm sure the governor is trying to put things in order. El-Rufai has done very well in the last 3 weeks that even a military governor in that state didn't do the same thing he has done. He was on top of the matter and everybody commended him for that, plus the opposition. And this is how our governors should be. Strategic thinking.
Has Buhari handled the issue of herdsmen and bandits across the country?
Yes, he has. There are no more in. There is no more problem in Benue State and Plateau State, plus Nasarawa State. Have you had anything happening in Benue State? No.
Yes, killings going on in Plateau State.
You see, the problem is which killings is going on is still ethnicity and religion.
Is that not enough?
How do you think you can tackle that? When a neighbor from a neighborhood decided to kill his neighbor. That is what Nigerians do. See, Abang, the best thing to do in this country is to tell people to raise the value of lives. Our police and military cannot be everywhere. How many are they? 300 and something thousand police. They can't be everywhere. If a society decides to kill its neighbor, if a neighbor decides to kill his neighbor, there is no way Buhari can stop it or any other president that will come.
He can unite the country.
He has done his best.
Has he been seen to unite Nigerians?
Yes. He has done his. Anytime he goes to Benue and Plateau State, he sits down with the kings around and the emirs, and he talks to them. Go and live in peace with your neighbors. That's what he tells them. Live in peace with your neighbors. He has a first-hand information on what is happening in the country.
Interesting how you insist that the president has united Nigerians. But the Islamic State of West Africa recently killed a number of international aid workers. I'm sure you heard about the young lady who died. And currently, they are holding a hostage. They are holding a Christian girl hostage, Lee Sharif, who was also not released by the federal government, quote unquote, because they negotiated that release that saw the Dapchi girls out. Given the demographic dynamics of Nigeria, this doesn't make the president and the current administration look good. What is going on, and how would you still give President Buhari credit for successfully?
It makes me laugh when you attach religion to Leah Sharibu and you don't attach religion to the girl that was killed, the Red Cross girl that was killed. She's a Muslim.
Absolutely, she is.
So why don't you attach religion to her? And President Muhammad Buhari is a Muslim, and she was killed as a Muslim. Leah Sharibu is a Christian. She was held because she's a Christian. No one attaches religion to the girl that was killed.
Of course.
But whenever you call Leah Sharibu, you attach religion. Because
of course, the question still goes to
it is even the perception is as if
the question
it is
still,
President Muhammad Buhari that is telling Boko Haram to hold her because she's a Christian.
No, the question still insists that how come government failed in negotiating their release? That's the question. It still boils down to the same thing.
If you go to negotiate, just as
and do not forget that
just as the other Chibok girls, just as there are a lot of abductees with the Boko Haram, and the government is negotiating for everybody, not just the ones the activists make noise on. Even others that are with them have parents, and those parents are worried. The government negotiates on everybody, even the Chibok girls, 100 are not back, almost 100. They went and negotiated for all, and they decided to keep one and release the rest. For a reason simply best known to them. If they are saying they are holding her because she's a Christian, why do they go into mosque and bomb mosque when people are praying if they are Muslims? Why? 85% of Boko Haram victims are Muslims and mosque. And no one is saying anything. Tell me how many churches they've burnt in the Northeast or in Nigeria. Boko Haram churches they burn. If you go to any church they burn, they are shady churches. All these low budget churches.
Okay, you do not even believe that churches have been attacked. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, the few that have been attacked are just low budget churches. They don't go to expensive churches like the Catholics, big Catholic church and all. Do you know the mosques that have been destroyed by Boko Haram in the northern Nigeria? The central mosque in Kano was bombed by Boko Haram. Why do you attach them with religion? These guys are monsters. These guys don't have religion. There is no religion that justifies killing of its own religion. They've done more harm to the religion than good. They are not Muslims. More than 80% of their victims are Muslims. Or when you go to the market to bomb yourself and bomb others, do you tell the Christians to go by the side or the Muslims to go by the side? You don't. See, we have challenges, we have problems in this country. We need to come together and solve these problems. Sentiments aside, if Nigerians don't come together to solve their problems, these problems will not be solved.
Nigeria has become a more fragile state. Clearly, you've already identified that. President Buhari has been blamed in some quarters for some of these threats that has been currently bedeviling the country. Let us even discuss one of them. Under the supervision of President Muhammadu Buhari, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, about 500 Shiites were massacred. And I use that term for a particular reason. The Islamic movement of Nigeria, their members were all buried in a mass grave. Only recently there was another attack on them. President Buhari has taken the leader of this same sect, Sheikh Zakzaky, as a political prisoner.
You can't even call his name right.
Against court rulings demanding his release. Doesn't this lend credence to the claims that President Buhari is supervising a sectarian cleanse?
You see, when people talk about Zakzaky and Shiites
Yes, exactly.
that have no experience whatsoever what this sect ideologies are, it gets funny. You can't tell me if a particular sect or religion goes to an extent of blocking the chief of army staff and telling him to turn back, and you want to justify his turning back.
So when
We have seen the videos of those kids even punching a general's chest. What do you call that? Where did you copy your democracy and freedom from? America. Try that in America. Let them try that in America and see. What are you talking about, Aban? This thing gets me angry. Some hooligans, drug addicts on the street, punch a general.
civilians
They have stones.
protesting
They have stones and they have bottle bombs.
that you have
with
stones
kerosene
enough
and petrol.
to spray bullets on them.
Yes. If they dare to touch our military, the whole wrath of the military will fall on them.
You are in support of the killings of the Shah.
I support the military to defend this country, to defend its citizens.
Is this because you are a Sunni and President Buhari is a Sunni?
Do you think I'm a Sunni?
Well, I'm
I
assuming.
told you I'm a Sunni.
I am assuming.
I'm a Muslim.
Right.
I believe in Allah and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is just it. I don't belong to any sect. I am a Muslim who believes in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and believes in Allah. Period. I had friends. I have friends that are Shia. I have friends that are Sunni.
This sect were killed only last week. About 45 of them were killed only last week.
Yeah, because they dared the military. I don't.
You said they are the military. Were they armed?
Yes, they were armed with stones and they were caught with bottles of kerosene and petrol that they use in doing mini bombs. You saw them burning police cars in Wusetu. What did they use in putting?
This is the same sect that has been provoked over the years. When you bury about 500 of their members.
You said a sect that has been provoked over the
Yes,
years.
by the
I will
state.
tell you.
When they blocked the chief of army staff's road, either the chief of army staff or the governor of Kaduna State, I've forgotten exactly who,
The chief of army staff.
called Zakzaky. No, when they blocked the chief of army
Right.
staff, one of them called Zakzaky and told him to come and talk to his people. Do you know what he said? That they are now out of control. He can no longer control them. That he has lost their control. So there is nothing he can do. You want us to leave such a monster that can't be controlled by their leader? Do you know what Zakzaky does in Zaria? Nobody in Zaria passes in front of his house with a car. Ask Lamarenyero when he was governor. There was a time he had to park by the side where he barricades the road to trek and pass through. Who is he? Forming a government in the government? He has his governors, he has his councillors, he doesn't listen to anybody, he doesn't follow the rule of law. You guys should better get your acts together. You see this monster, you try to defend and justify their actions. I am telling you, when they come for...
We are insisting on their rights as human beings.
What right do they have to punch a military's chest? What right do they have to use stones and stone a military man? What right do they have? You just told me that a lot of the military personnel are being killed in the Northeast. For us, you and I.
Isn't that the same problem we should avoid with the Shia?
Avoid what? That is what we are trying to avoid. You give them chance, they protest every day in thousands and infringe other people's rights. I have a right to freely move around in this town. If you allow Shias to move and protest every day, they will block my road. They have broken glasses of offices and cars around Hilton.
So you're justifying the massacre of the Nigerian people by the Buhari-led government?
You call it massacre of Nigerian people. I call it nonsensical act of some miscreants.
What will you call unarmed protesters?
Those boys were caught with drugs, Abang. They are not decent guys. They are caught with drugs.
So if I am caught with drugs, I should be shot?
You can do anything under the influence of drugs. You don't know what they did. What you always say is the side of the IMN, not the side of... You don't look at the side of the military. Why?
Because excuse me.
Why? Because the military hold guns. That is why you don't look at their own side. You only look at the IMN side. You don't look at what they do to the military to provoke them. What happened on Saturday, last Saturday, I think, was not this weekend, the weekend before this, was they were taking some weapons to Kaduna, and those guys blocked their road and started stoning them.
Well, that was the claims by the military.
It wasn't a claim. They killed a policeman in Kaduna State. Everyone saw it in a video. Those military guys that were escorting it were like 2 or 3. If they hadn't shot their guns, they could have killed them.
No, they did not shoot them. They sprayed the bullet on them.
What I'm saying is, if they don't do that, they could have killed them.
But I am worried that you're justifying
For
the
how
killings
long?
of
Yes,
Nigerians.
yes, because those militaries too have lives.
So you're going to support what Buhari has done?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It is in their own right to defend themselves as the military men.
Against what?
Against anybody trying to kill them. Any oppressor coming to
The
them.
Nigerian military is supposed to be defending the Nigerian territory.
And okay, on its way out of the town to go and
Kill Nigeria.
to go and save the defensive weapons, some monsters on the road blocked them and started stoning them. We have seen with our eyes how they killed a policeman in Kaduna State.
So is your solution to the crisis?
A military man too is a human being, is a Nigerian.
Absolutely, nobody
If anybody tries to kill him, he should defend himself and kill that person.
There's nobody that's been killed by the military. The Shiites, they haven't killed anybody in the military.
But they killed a policeman in Kaduna State when they protested, and the policeman, maybe he was timid. Yes.
And 500 Shiites have been buried.
I don't know about the numbers, but whatsoever it
the
is,
last time we had that
whatsoever it is, excuse me, Abang, whatsoever it is, I don't know about the numbers, but if you block the Chief of Army Staff's road, I will not be in support of pleading with you.
So you
What sort of nonsense is that? We're a country with rule of law. The military, the head of the military, fighting terror. Then let me tell you, then, excuse me, then the Boko Haram's issue was on the top gear. Fighting terror, passing by, and you now blocked his road and told him to reverse back. If he had reversed back, there could have been a coup in Nigeria. Excuse me, if the Chief of Army Staff had reversed back, there could have been a coup in Nigeria. It means they've taken over our country.
Why is President Buhari disregarding court orders in releasing?
I'll tell you why.
If you release Zakzaky today, the people in Zaria will go for him. Because as far as they're concerned, he's a nuisance. Yes. If you release him, the DSS is holding
What
that
do you mean
man.
go for him?
Kill him. Yes, go for his head. They are tired. I stayed in Zaria since
Is that why they are
1988.
refusing
I
to
stayed in Zaria in 1988, and I'll tell you what Zakzaky does in Zaria.
Is that why they're refusing to release him?
It is in his own.
It's in my own interest. It doesn't make
It's in his
sense.
own interest. I'm telling you.
make sense.
Go to Zaria. You are a journalist. Go to Zaria, sit with people and talk with them. If Zakzaky is released today, what will you guys be? Are you guys going to be comfortable? What would you do? Ask them. There will be war because the Iron Man will come for the people and the people will come for Zakzaky.
A Brookings report declared Nigeria the poverty capital of the world. The economy is collapsing. Unemployment, as a businessman, you should understand this. Unemployment is at a record high. Foreign investors are exiting Nigeria in large numbers. Would you agree that the economy at least has failed under the President Buhari's government? Would you agree on that?
Abang, in the last 18 months, before last month, inflation has declined.
88 million Nigerians
I'll come to that.
are suffering in abject poverty.
I will come to that.
In the last 18 months, inflation had declined. 18 months, straight 18 months. That is one. Secondly, the social investment program is massively touching a lot of Nigerians today. It has covered more than 13 million people in this country within 3 years. Unprecedented.
How do you compare social investment to economic growth? I'm trying to put that side by side.
I'll tell you.
The school feeding program is feeding 9.2 million children in school today. And each of those children are being given 1 egg in a week. That is 9.2 million eggs in a week. To get 9.2 million eggs, you have to have 100,000 chicken farms. 100,000 chicken farms with not till less than 10,000 chicken that will lay 3 eggs in a week. That is when you have 9.2 million eggs. Is that not a massive reach of agriculture?
Has Buhari managed the economy well?
Yes, he has. Yes. Look at the videos Okonjo Iweala was warning Nigeria to save, and even Peter Obi, that is vice president to Atiku. Look at the videos. Just go and see the videos. They were warning Nigerians to save, that this day will come. Plus SLS when he was CBN governor. These guys were crooks. These guys were stealing our money. They stole our future. Buhari brought us out of recession within a year.
He took us in as well.
He didn't take us in. What year did we go into recession? A few months after he's taken over. You can't go into recession with just a problem you have created in 6-8 months. You can't.
It was his management of it.
It was a problem that was there before now. It was a problem that started 5-10 years before 2015.
The shutdown of the local operations of global banks like UBS and HSBC, I don't know if you've seen that report, can be seen as an indicator of a failing international investor confidence on Nigeria. But as a local businessman like yourself, aren't you concerned that President Buhari's economic agenda is hurting your business personally?
Abang, have you made your findings on what HSBC is?
I would like to know.
HSBC is a bank that has been known with sharp practices. HSBC recently was fined $2 million by the American government. Not once, not twice, but as recent as last year. HSBC was fined £1.5 million by the UK government.
What is your point?
My point is, this is not a bank we even need in Nigeria. In fact, it wasn't an operating bank. What they had in Nigeria was an office, a corresponding office of people that looted our economy, looted our monies, buy properties in the UK while they transfer their letters. That's what they do. Let HSBC refund back our monies that are with them. The likes of Desani and others that kept money in HSBC. Let them refund back those monies, and you see if they won't be broke. They have to close office because there are no sharp practices in Nigeria today. It has reduced to a minimum. Yes.
A number of internationally respected political intelligence and risk advisory firms have actually predicted a win for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar for 2019. Do you still have confidence in the ability of President Buhari to win these elections?
Atiku.
Yes, Atiku.
What's his political value with the electorate? Do you know?
I wouldn't know. I don't do political.
President Muhammadu Buhari has had 12 million votes since 2003 consistently.
And he has.
This is area.
Aradua won him. He has had times where Obasanjo won him. He has had time where Jonathan won him.
Former ambassador to the US just wrote a book and said it on an interview with Channels TV that all those elections from 2003, 2007, 2011, Buhari was rigged out. And he said he spoke to the people concerned.
So you're sure that the
Yes, he was, because I was in the system, he was rigged out.
You're sure that Buhari is winning these elections?
Absolutely. Massively winning. A very large margin. Clear cut.
Atiku's campaign has been endorsed by prominent... Okay, yeah, you've clearly pointed that you're not scared about that. But Obasanjo has also stepped in for Atiku. These are people that stepped in for Buhari when he needed them during the last election. His campaign is focused on jobs. That's that of Atiku. According to several reports, the momentum favors Atiku at the moment against the APC. Because the conversation has been that the current government has been unable to unite Nigerians as an Atiku government. Doesn't this scare you as a supporter of President Buhari?
First of all, Obasanjo is just a vote. It's just a one-man's vote. What's Obasanjo's political value in Otafam? Play a polls there and you lose.
Did you say this when he supported Buhari in 2015?
Yes, I did.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes, I did. And you're talking about Atiku employment or employing people. It was the same Atiku that used privatization and sacked civil servants. Some are dead and some are the ones we're fixing now. The mess this government is fixing is what Atiku's government has caused for 8 years. Go and see some clips of videos of pensioners collecting their money from Nigerian Airways, at Nitel, and others. After privatization, they didn't pay them. They sold the companies and refused to pay Nigerians. Some are aged today, and this government is paying them.
What is happening with your party, the APC? A number of governors are asking for the national chairman Adams Oshomole's head over his alleged imposition of candidates. What camp do you belong to? Because it seems
Is there
like
any camp?
APC,
Is there any camp in APC?
It seems like APC is imploding.
Is there any camp in the APC? There is no camp.
It suggests there are lots of camps.
Which camp are you talking about? There is no camp in the APC.
So it's a one united family.
Yes, we will be united. There is always going to be a problem when you bring in people and tell them to contest elections. There must be problems. 10 people bought a form for one office. All of them cannot win. It's just one person that can win. How I wish the chairman can make all the 10 win at the same time, but he can't. 10 people contesting for one office and only one person can win. There must be problems. Those ones that lose out must cry out. We'll reconcile.
What do you propose is the way forward for your party ahead of the general elections? Because you said you will reconcile, but is reconciliation enough to unite those that are angry at the moment? What's your definition of progress moving forward for the APC?
Moving forward, I think the APC should focus on the direct primaries thing. These direct primaries that have started will be better in 2023. So I think the APC should clean its house, do a lot of work, try and as much as possible to fix its way to have a very good direct primaries in 2023.
Mr. Hassan, thank you so much for your time.